Look at this. How patient Jan is. Doesn't rush it.
Oh,
Beautiful low kick. Oh, look at
nice
that.
takedown by Petr.
All right, let's get it. UFC 273, co-main event. We got Petr Yan versus Aljamain Sterling.
Yes.
The rematch. Obviously, the first fight, I don't really count as a win for Aljamain. He won by disqualification from an illegal knee. And if anyone actually deserved an Oscar last night, it was Aljamain for the performance he put on in that octagon.
If anybody deserved an Oscar or deserved to be slapped by Will Smith,
Yeah,
it was Aljamain Sterling. Yeah. I want your opinion first. What do you think is going to happen in this second fight?
Well, I rewatched they just put it on YouTube. UFC just released the full fight between them, and I just rewatched it. And that first round was actually a lot more active than I remember from Aljamain. Like, when I think back on that fight, I'm like, pure domination from Petr, and then like you go back to that first round, and man, Alj was throwing flying knees. He took him down. Obviously, Sterling's got great wrestling, but Jan being such a dominant champion, you just didn't see him get shook like that so quick. And then he caught his composure and he dominated him for pretty much 3.5 rounds after that. I
think I think it was very typical actually of a Petr Yan fight. During the first fight, he felt him out. He got his timing. He put a game plan in, right? And then second round up, that's when he did start dominating. And he was, even if he had not thrown that illegal knee, he was seconds away from finishing that fight.
Yeah, he really was. I mean, at that point,
Aljamain was gone.
He was so tired and everything. But you're right about he does start fights off pretty slow. Think about the Aldo fight. He was just getting dominated with leg kicks that first round until he could actually do something about the leg kicks. But his boxing always reigns supreme in the fight. Yeah. He always comes out dominant. He always performs how he needs to, and I think that's what's going to happen with this fight. I just wonder if he's going to come out with a chip on his shoulder. He isn't an interim champ right now. But in everyone else's eyes, that's a purist of the UFC.
He's a real paper champ.
He's the champ in everyone else's opinion.
I don't think he is. I think he's a very smart fighter, and he's not. He's going to maintain his composure. He's going to come out there and do what he does. Every single fight, again, every round that goes on goes more into Petr Yan's favor. Every single round, and I don't think this is going to be any different. That being said, even though Sterling obviously, played that part after he got that that knee to the dome piece. But he is a top tier fighter. So I mean, could he win? Yes. He did. He was getting his ass beat by Sandhagen and then pulled out a submission. So something like that could definitely happen. I just think Petr Yan is too. He's got too much fight IQ.
He hasn't fought since that fight, right? And then obviously you're not allowed to train for a certain amount of time because of concussion, whatever. They say he was concussed and everything. So he couldn't train for a while. And then he started training and then he had an injury. Well, at the first rematch that was supposed to happen. And then the second one was booked and he had another injury. Or no, I think, what did he say? Petr got COVID. I think that's what happened on the second. Or he wasn't vaccinated or something like that. So he couldn't make the travels. It was something crazy like that. And now we're finally getting the fight.
Again, Sterling's a great fighter. I did lose respect for him how he played that up. I get he did take an illegal knee, but Ben Askren took one of the worst knees possible and then got up and walked out. I just watched the Michael Bisping documentary. After he suffered that crazy loss from Dan Henderson, he stood up, walked out of the devastating knockout, walked to the back, and didn't even know where the hell he was at. Thought that he was training for his fight.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. And then Aljo, takes that knee and he's like walking. He's like trying to get up like this, like fucking Bambi or some shit,
This has turned into why we hate Sterling. But, I just truly think that he's a good fighter. He's got great wrestling. He has everyone in that weight class, especially in the top 5, they're so sporadic on how they fight. Like, they can throw anything at you. Flying knees, elbows from anywhere, crazy kicks. Like, think of those top few fighters in that weight class. They're all like that. And I just think that out of everyone there, the person who's striking is the best is Petr. And I don't think that Sterling's wrestling is going to be able to do anything about that. We saw what happened last time. Like, he came out very in your face and sporadic, but he tired out. If he could do that for 5 rounds, he could probably win the fight. but he can't.
I just
he can't do that.
I don't see that happening because Peter Yan is just he's gonna get that timing down in that first round. He's gonna come back and start putting his shit together.
It's what Sandhagen was able to do to Jan, which is what Sterling would need to do, right? He kept mixing it up, and that's what kept Sandhagen in that fight for. I personally think it could have went either way. Actually, it could.
But again, you look at that fight, the first round, I think second round was Sandhagen, and then that's when Peter Yan he got that timing down pat, and then just started piecing them up. And I think that you're going to see that with most people he fights. And I mean, anything could happen. It's a fight. So could Peter Yan get knocked out in the first round?
Yeah,
I doubt it. You know what I mean? Unless he gets knocked out from Sterling's tears or something like that. You know what I mean? But yeah, so I'm gonna give that fight, of course, to Peter Yan. I will be devastated though if Yan does lose.
How do you get the fight? How do you have the fight going?
I think it's gonna be a third round knockout.
Okay, I don't think it's gonna be a knockout. I think it'll probably be it's either gonna be a 4th, 5th round TKO or Peter Yan by decision.
Yeah, and when I say knockout, I mean TKO, KO. But I think it'll be third round. I think that it's going to go just like the other fight went, except for Peter Yan's going to be like, before he throws that knee, he's going to be like, calm down, boy.
Well, even going back to that fight, like rewatching it, you could hear his coaches saying, throw punches, don't throw knees.
He's like, knee? Yeah, we'll see.